at all, print media. And I think it's sad that even today we don't get much coverage. So I'm very thankful that you had me on the show and going a bit of exposure. My entrance to rowing was actually just by chance through my husband. He's a ex-rower and international umpire. That's how I got drawn to the sport, and all the knowledge I got was basically from him. And then when he took over as the Secretary General of the Rowing Federation of India, we were a very, very small federation that time with very less back-end support. This was in the year 2000. And in 2000, India had been awarded the Asian Junior Championship. And there was just him struggling as Secretary General to run the sport. And that's when I came into the picture, helping him in the back office work and all that. And subsequent to that, Hyderabad, where I live, was awarded the national games. And again, there was just two of us who had to organize the national games. And I kept getting drawn in basically to help him out. And we were the hosts, and that's the first time this massive infrastructure came up in Hyderabad. And then there was no looking back when we held the Asian Championship and a number of nationals. And I started getting drawn into it in a very big way. When I joined the executive committee of the Rowing Federation of India in 2008. And we given the task of looking after the junior and the women rowing. And from then, the junior program took off very nicely, and we were the champions of Asia at the junior level in the 4 years consecutively. Then in 2012, when the elections came up, at the request of the federation, I just contested the election and won unanimously. Now I'm about tenure. That's my story.
Okay, that's a nice story, ma'am. So that's good to know. So starting from the roots, ma'am, what do you think is the right age to start rowing? You see, me being a boy from Kolkata, although I'm into athletics, but in our training as well, we used to have people from different schools, especially the YMCA schools, the Christian schools. They have this craze of going into rowing, and like you must be knowing that Calcutta rowing, it has a good culture. It is competitive, and we have had friends going to the sub juniors and juniors and all. So what actually is the right age to start rowing?
Actually, the right age to start rowing is, I think, around 11 and 12. Before that, the children are too small to handle the oars, and the feet would not touch the stretcher and the shoe level and all. So, I think 11 and 12 is a very good age to start. And Calcutta, where you come from, they have these clubs, Bengal Rowing Club and Calcutta Rowing Modern Day Club, where they encourage every summer camps for children, which culminate in the school regatta. That's why Bengal, I can say, is a big feeder for the Rowing Federation of India, sub junior and junior level. So, 12 years is very, very good age to start. And we've introduced under 13 at the national level. So, this gives a lot of encouragement for the small children to take part in the nationals because they have a chance. Earlier, there used to be only under 15, so the under 12 and 13, I mean, under 13 kids used to lose out. So with the under 13 coming in, it's become very, very popular at that age level. Yeah.
Now, can you talk about some of the top competitions that we have in the rowing, and what are the age categories and how is it done? More about the competitions, because you see the infrastructure is something which we lack in our country for rowing, and rowing is a sport which in the future we believe can grow and can bring finish it to the Olympic podium. So just to the audience that is following, so what are the age categories of the national competitions we have as of now in
Yes.
India?
So three major national championships are held. One is the sub junior national championship where we have two age groups, like I told you, the under 13 and the under 15. Then we have the junior nationals, that is under 18. Then we have the senior nationals, which is open to all. So preferably, children who are below 50 should not be rowing in it because it's a 2 kilometer percentage purely. So these are the three major championships. Apart from it, we have something called the sprint state sprint regatta, which is made rowers who have not got any medal in any category, especially the senior category. So this is very well stated all the rowers because then everyone has a chance to win a medal. So the senior nationals they are pitted against rowers who already are medalists. They would lose out. So the senior state is a big event, and there we have a very good turnout. Over and above this, but for the pandemic, we were planning to start it at zonal levels also. But unfortunately, because of the pandemic, the zonal championship didn't get going. If you have the zonals, I'm sure it will be more popular because we for 4 or 5 states and give more chance to the rowers to take part in a national level championship recognized by the federation. And the generally state championships and all which are held, the footprint is not so large because, like I said, the infrastructure is yet to spread out from the capital cities. They're mainly located in the capitals, and we haven't been able to like go into other centers. There's just one state, one center, or maximum of 2 to 3 centers. Ideally, every state should have 8 to 10 centers where the rowers would be rowing and coming into the nationals. Not happening because of costly equipment, shortage of coaches, and also rowing needs a lot of backup in terms of follow boat. It's dangerous because the boats are so narrow they capsize. So having a follow boat is very essential for rescue, and all these things require massive funding, and unless the state governments don't come in with funding, it's very difficult for district level rowing to take off. Yeah.
Ma'am, continuing from your point, about the state level coming up, state funding and different states joining hands together for funding and more, boats and infrastructure. What do you think, or what are the things you feel that can be used in the future to engage more fans? You see, compared to any other sport, rowing has been lagging behind. In especially not only in India but in Asia. So, what are the fan engaging factors you see that rowing can uphold, or maybe how do you feel that these are the ways how you as a president of the Rowing Federation of India can motivate your state or other states to join in for funding or infrastructure, maybe media engagement or anything that you might feel can be more fan engaging, more people taking up the sport?
Actually, to begin with, the state governments definitely have to come in with the help of by helping us with equipment in every state. Right now, the states which are doing well are the states which already have infrastructure in terms of size centers, or which the state government has put up a center. It's very difficult for a local association to start rowing in a big way unless the government doesn't buy the boats, because where will the local association go and get the funds? And the thing is, the to make it more attractive, the only way we are looking at it is to have shorter distance sprints and mixed level sprints. Because if it's a 500-meter race, there's a lot of excitement over it, because the 2 kilometer race gets very boring. It is like 8 9 minutes and it's very difficult to hold the attention of our audience. So if they make it into 500 meters, it would be very exciting. But unfortunately, at the Asian level or at the FISA level, there are no sprint events which are being introduced, and it's always the 2 kilometers. So we have introduced the sprints at the interstate level, and it is very well appreciated by the audience also. And most of the finishes are almost photo finishes, so it is exciting. But since it's not recognized at Asian level, it's just fun and games at our country level only. So I'm thinking like sprints are the only way we can get media attention. Secondly, FISA has also come up with the coastal events. They're having it in the sea, and in future they're also wanting to take it at the Olympic level at the coastal championships. But I'm thinking that it took us so long to even establish a few centers in our country. For coastal, we'll again have to start from zero, which is going to be a very difficult task. So these are challenges which you are facing. The third event which has come in is the indoor rowing, which is also becoming very popular, and it is a recognized national level event where you don't need boats and all. You just work on the rowing machine in a gym and compete. And right now in the pandemic, the world body had the World Sprint Championship online. So looking at the future, I think the indoor rowing is going to become the next big thing in the world of sports, especially to do with rowing. It is a challenging sport to host, and it's a challenging sport to than the media. Because if you pick up the newspaper, the last so many years, I've never seen any coverage on any rowing event anywhere in the world taking place in the newspapers. How that is going to happen is something we all have to sit and think about. Because very, very worried that the popularity is not taking the way it should be. I think if people come into indoor rowing, it will be a stepping stone to water rowing for them also. So the indoor rowing is getting a lot of turnout in the nationals. And those people who carry the message of rowing to their friends and their schoolmates and college mates and all. And let's hope that it takes off in such a way that people would come and go eventually from the mission to the port. Yeah.
Nicely said, ma'am. Recently this came out in the media. Our Olympians this time from rowing, Arjun Lal and Arvind Singh, they came up to be saying that they had never heard of the Olympic Games initially. This is the first time they heard of the Olympic Games. Okay, I'm not just talking about rowing as a sport, but Olympics as a sporting
Yeah.
event, the global sporting event. Being a president of the Rowing Federation of India and being, like you said initially, you are into sports, interested into sports. If there is anything that you'd like to share or that you'd like to give insight to how sports as a whole or sporting competitions as a whole can be recognized by the maybe by the country, by youngsters coming in different schools or something. I'll give you an example. You have the cricket coming up, the IPL, the ISL in football. Similarly, we don't have such sports or such leagues, such commercialized leagues in rowing, or let's say my sport athletics or any such sport, which is, although they are coming up, but they are coming up little slow. So is there anything that you would like to add to as sports fanatics that can help our country recognize such sporting talents and maybe get to know the awareness we need to know, like your own sports person said they were never aware of the Olympics. Maybe more people coming in the future, can know about the Olympics. Even in the initial stages as well, the national championships, the continental championships, or different competitions and all. So maybe they can take part in not only rowing but in different sports. So anything that you'd like to add to, or that comes to your
Actually,
mind?
two things. In order to get popular, we have to reach the world level and win something. Like someone said, today is the anniversary, I think, of the World Cup, which India won in cricket. It's all over that it's a great moment for Indian cricket because it was the turning point for India. Won the World Cup and then it took off. Similarly, I feel in sports, once you win something at the world level, then the media catches it. Once the media catches it, then normally everyone starts looking at that sport. Like PV Sindhu winning the silver at the Olympics gave so much publicity to badminton, and there was like parades all over Telangana when she came. The whole city came to know that we have amongst us. So until we don't have that level of winning at the world stage or even at the Asian Games stage, the public will bring the awareness. If we win something at the Asian Championship, it doesn't interest them. But if we win at Olympics and we win at the Asian Games, it catapults the sport into a different level with the media. That's when the sponsors start coming in. They get excited when they say that, wow, this game is now won at the Asian Games or the Olympic Games, so we too must capitalize on the star, and then that's how we get the sponsorship going. So until we don't reach that level of perfection in the sport, we will not get the sponsorship and the media attention. So we all have to be thinking how we can become world champions or Asian Games champions and then draw the media into it. And the public also want to know where we can go and play the game. It's so many calls every day. So from unknown people to say that we want to play, where can we play? Unfortunately, in this sport, it's not accessible everywhere to everybody. You have to be near a club which is encouraging the sport, then they can join and then it's so grueling to become an international star. You got to leave your studies and work on the game almost 24/7. And a lot of parents are fighting about this because they feel that, what is the future for the child if he doesn't become an international? He's left his studies, he's come into the sport, and then what happens if he doesn't fit there? Over here, I would like to comment on the Khelo India program that they are encouraging the sportsperson a lot. Once they get a national medal at the junior level or the sub junior level, the government is looking at them to bring them into the Khelo India program, where they 10,000 rupees pocket money a month or 5,000 depending on which age category they are in. And then they are encouraged to keep playing the game with the promise that the government is going to grow 10, 15, 20 good. They are sustaining them for 6 to 8 years, provided they are giving some performance at the national level. Otherwise, they get weeded out. So that is one very encouraging aspect which has come into the sport with the present government. Thank them for that. And most of the stars which are going to the Olympics are mostly in Khelo India. And once they cross over 18, 19 years and they are at the international level knocking at the doors, they come into something called the top scheme. That is top of the podium scheme. And there again, the government is helping them a lot by giving them 25,000 rupees a month and sustaining them through all the activities they want to do. But to reach that level, you have to be really good. You can't just come in and say, now fund me. We have to see some spark. And a lot of them are misusing the system, taking the money and then leaving midway. So we need perseverance and continuity to become a star. Leaving midway is like cheating the coach also. He's training somebody, and then after a certain time, he says, "Okay, I don't want to row, I don't want to play this game," and go away. And he has to again start from new again. So they're handicaps, but like I told you, the government is also trying its best to popularize the sport and give it a lot of publicity in the print and media and the social media as well. Yeah.
Rightly said, ma'am. The Khelo India scheme, even I have been going through it, and even I have been cursing myself. Why didn't it happen 10 years down the line, back the line? Sorry. Should
Yeah.
have got a lot of things back then. During our teenage and all. Although things are improving, we can see a lot of participants coming in 18 sports. This time they are expecting a maximum number of medals coming in. Let's see after the pandemic. So, ma'am, we're sticking to rowing. Can you name some of the stars or some of the international athletes who have got recognition for rowing in India? Some of the top achievements of rowing in India and in the global stage, Indian rowing in the global stage.
Actually, not very many people would know it, but Rowing Federation boasts about 14 to 16 Arjuna awardees. Such a low profile sport, I think it's a very, very big achievement that we have 14 to 16 Arjuna awardees today. But from it, we have, I think, four or three Kanchan awardees, and we have two Dronacharya awardees. So I'll start with the most famous Arjuna awardee, which in my mind is Janil Krishnan. He's one rower who got medals across 3 Asian Games. And they're so low profile that nobody would know about Janil Krishnan. But yet, he's got medals in Busan in 2002. He's got medal in Doha 2006, and then he got 2 silver medals in Guangzhou 2010. So as far as I'm concerned, he's one very, very big star of Rowing Federation of India. Apart from him, Bajrang Lal Thakkar is also one of the most famous rowers we've had, because he's the one who got the first Asian Games gold for us in 2010. And he was the undefeated single scull rower for 7, 8, 9, 10, 4 years in a row. He was undefeated in Asia. And he was an Olympian at the London Olympics. And then we had Swaran Singh, London Olympic participant, and he was world number 12, which is the best we've had so far. And then my junior four was also very, very good. And there was Prashant Nair, who was the outstanding stroke of the junior four in the year 8, 9, and 10. So, and the biggest honor Rowing Federation got was he was invited to run with the Olympic torch in China in 2010 Asian Games. For a rower to be selected to run with the torch in China can be called one very big achievement for my federation. Then the women four also, junior four, won the gold in 2018 in the Asian Junior Championship. And we had a lot of stars in the men event, but unfortunately in women we've only got one Asian Games medal. We have Pramila and Pratima from Orissa. And there was Manjeet Singh, who played two Olympics in the double scull in Beijing as well as London. So these are some of the stars I really respect and admire, because apart from being a good rower, he consistently rowed for so many years. He started rowing at 2003 as a junior and consistently rowed right up till 2012. And it is this consistency and perseverance which creates champions for us. Like I told you, rowing in one championship, getting one medal and leaving is very, very sad for us when we lose a start or retirement, or he doesn't want to row anymore, because rowing is very, very grueling. But rowers who kept up rowing for 4 to 10 years are the ones who really got the fruits of the sport.
Nicely said, ma'am. Rowing, yes, like you said, is a difficult sport, even, much difficult, at least to the kind of training we used to have for sprints. Lastly, ma'am, our rowers, Arjun Lal and Arvind Singh, they are going for the Olympics this time. What do you make out of them in the Olympics? What are our chances in the Olympics? I know it is very difficult to sit in a room and speak about them at the global level, but still, by going by all your experiences serving the Rowing Federation of India, what do you think our chances are? What do you see finishing ourselves in, and how much have they've been training in the? We check out their pictures in the social media, but then it is you who knows the insights and all. So anything
Actually, Actually, Arjun and Arvind are very, very talented rowers, and they themselves are like so innocent. They don't know at what a great achievement it is for them to go to the Olympics. And because of the pandemic, they've been totally secluded and locked up, you can say, in a bubble in the Army Rowing Node in Pune. And initially, we were training in Bhopal, and that lake is actually very, very conducive to practicing for Japan, because Japan conditions are going to be very, very choppy. It is a part of the sea which has been enclosed, and the sea forest waterway has been created. And whereas the conditions in the Army Rowing Node are very, very perfect conditions, like there's no wind, no wave, no nothing. So when we had to move because of the pandemic to train at Pune, we lost out the advantage of training in Bhopal, which would have given us more Japan-like conditions. And we had actually trained to take part in 2020. So the fact that it didn't happen there and they had to move into this bubble has been mentally very, very taxing on not only them, the rest of the people they are sparring with, and the coaches. It's been monotonous. We have not had any exposure to any championships, no foreign exposures at all. So that way they lost out because no racing experiences. In fact, today they were having one at this thing practice session, that they were being paced by a quad, which is four rowers were in one boat, and they were practicing against them. And it is tough on them mentally. Yet they are so motivated, and let's hope for the best. And I'm hoping they row in the B finals, which would be the first 12. A final would be the first six, and B final would be from 7 to 12. So that is my dream and the best thing we could hope for the double scull, because the double scull is the toughest event in the Olympics, and every country in the world focuses on the lightweight double scull, and it's a very, very fast race. But the performance was very, very commendable in Japan, where they came second to Japan, the home team. And Japan has always been very, very strong in the double scull. So hopefully we look for a B final entry this time. We never rode in a B final in the Olympics, and every Olympic we've been improving gradually. So that's what we are hoping for. We wish them all the best.
yes, ma'am. Yes, like you said, hoping for that in the Olympics. Being an Indian, yes, I hope to see all, the majority of the medals coming to us from all these sports. So only 28 till the for more than 100 years right now. Let's see. For all the sports, I've been following each and every sports. Even Sai has had their social media improvement. Okay, they've been posting a lot of pictures and stuff for all the sports. So I've been keen on them, and this pandemic and all that gave me the idea to go with the Olympic Dream Series. Thinking just maybe we can just share the insights of everything that has been going on in and around the country for sports. So, ma'am, that's all for today. Is there any message for us that you'd like to give, or how is this series? Do you think this kind of a series can actually help, spread information or anything that you'd like to add to the series? We've just started today with you, and with time we'll be moving on with different people, different personalities, different sports persons in the upcoming days and throughout the Olympics. So, anything for us, any message for us, or any message to the initiative that we've taken?
Yeah, I wish you all the very best for this very good initiative you've taken, because it will take all the sports to the doorsteps and of all the viewers, and get a lot of awareness into the Olympic movement. And not only Olympics, all sports can get a stage for them to showcase what they're all about. And if you will be covering Olympics through this media, it would be nice, because it would actually bring all the sports into the lives of all the viewers and get much more awareness. And I wish you all the very best on it. And I'll also follow what you have been covering, and hope I can come back again sometime later and talk with you once again. And also would like to wish all the other federations and all the athletes who are going to the Olympics, and we look forward to some very good results from the Indian team. Also thank the government for all the support they gave us. It's been amazing, the support and shooting which has come up so well. I think without government support they would be nowhere close to what they're going to be achieving at the Olympics. Let's everyone all the best, and you and so hope to see you again sometime in the future. And we'll watch it through social media, social media, talking, I could say. So thank you very much again for inviting me and having me over.
Yes, ma'am. Just best of luck to you, and please convey my best wishes to the Olympians who are coming in, going for us, Arjun Lal and Arvind Singh. You know, because I know I can't really get in touch with them because they are, like you said, they are training in the army. Okay, and that's all for today. Thank you for joining in. This is the new normal we thought about, in the upcoming days, and this has been the dream. Let's see how the dream goes in. Let's see how much us as a country, India as a country, we succeed. Let's see. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thanks a lot
Yeah,
for
thank you.
joining
Bye
me.
bye.
Yeah.
Bye bye.